Sam, I went out to training camp, man, and first day of pads, and you always wonder, like, what does it look like? First, I want to say, man, Christian Darrisaw, coming off an injury, like, I don't know if you saw the video of the Raiders, I think, cornerback, who people feel like they're rushing him back from an ACL. He's jumping up, catching balls, and limping, Sam. It does not look good. It looks like they're rushing him back too fast. He doesn't have a brace on or nothing. Christian Darrisaw has a brace on, but Sam, he's in full, like, block mode, contact mode, pushing guys around. Like, he looks good. My guess is they're going to slow roll him for 3 weeks to get to that first game to make sure he's 100% ready to go. The best thing about Christian Darrisaw is he has to anchor, push, run. He doesn't have to do too much like TJ Hawkinson, swiggle moves and all that, where his knee might not feel as stable as it does. But he looks good. He looks strong. He looks confident. Got to see Dallas Turner in some one-on-one drills. Unfortunately, Sam, the couple reps I saw, he was going against Leroy Watson. Oh, man.
Tough on Watson.
Tough on Watson, man. Like, I like Watson. I'm going to still try to get him on our show, or maybe just get him when I'm at camp. But, man, tough. Like, it's tough, though. Like, we were all watching it. We're like, ooh, Dallas Turner looks good. And I'm like, ooh, that was against Leroy Watson. Dallas Turner hit him with a spin move, didn't even touch him. And then hit him with like I don't know what, it's not a Reggie White hump, but it's kind of like get up the field and then kind of like go under him. It's kind of like a jab under. But it looks like he has 2 moves. I haven't seen a bunch more, but like he's already added 2 moves to his arsenal. So it was good to see Dallas Turner moving well. Now, again, he's going against Leroy Watson. Nothing against Leroy Watson, but I think he's slated as like the 3 tackle. And so that's the thing. And maybe Walter Rouse. I got to talk to Walter Rouse for a minute. And he seems like a good guy. So maybe we'll try to get him on the show. Just talk a little bit of like playing behind Christian Darrisaw and being a potential swing tackle. But that's the one thing I noticed. I didn't watch. I like the one-on-ones. It goes Justin Jefferson, team periods and one-on-ones. Justin Jefferson's not going. Like, he came out there in the leg sleeve or whatever. We know that. Everybody knows he has a minor hamstring injury. But Jordan Addison, man, he was getting loose. Addison was getting loose. That's gonna be the tough thing. If Justin Jefferson can't go week 1, and then all of a sudden they come down on Addison and he can't go week 1 through 3, that undefeated potential start that I assumed would happen, or that 2-1 start, could start to look a little bit more different. But I did talk to CJ Ham, and with Jordan Mason, he said, man, Jordan Mason is 230 pounds. Wow. I didn't realize he was that big. Like, that's a big running back at 230. And so he was just saying, like, it all signs point to when you have 2 backs like this, you're going to want to run the ball and have to run the ball a little bit more. You don't want to rely on a rookie quarterback. And I think that's the reason for Jordan Addison or Jordan Mason. And I think we forgot that. Like, you don't want to rely on a rookie quarterback. You don't want to say, hey, Rook, go out, or not rookie, second year, but rookie. He's a redshirt rookie. You don't want him to have to go out there and throw the ball 55 times. You don't want him to have to go out there and throw the ball 45 times. You want him to have a comfortable maybe 26 for 30 or 22 for 30. Like, and then you want to run the ball 40 times. I think that's a good 60, 70 play game for JJ McCarthy early on, is test the Bears run game defense. Like, can they stop Aaron Jones? Can they stop Jordan Mason? And CJ Hill, I was like, man, how's he look? He said, man, he looks good. He said, for a guy his size, you wouldn't expect him to move like that. Like, when you hear 230, you think more like straight up and down, Derrick Henry type, run downhill. He's like, no, man, the guy sticks his foot in the ground. He can change direction. He's shifty, but he's 230. So when it's time to lower the shoulder, he's bringing it. And, that's the thing. I'm not going to give too much away about it, but that's the thing, I'm keeping my eye on now, is like when they go team periods, how much does Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones play with the ones? I got a chance to talk to his brother. Aaron Jones' brother was out there as well, so he and I connected quick. It was good to see him. I always forget they look alike because they're twins, so it's always weird. I'm like, wait, why are you in street clothes? I just saw you like walking by.
Did we have him on?
We had him on. Alvin.
Yeah.
Yep, we had him on last year. That's the other thing, man. I think I'm gonna just have to get Aaron Jones on site. Because when I was walking by, he gave me the butt pat, which I'm like, okay, I'm a former player, so maybe that's why. I hope he wouldn't do that, just randoms. But he's like, hey man, how's it going, man? Like, he came back. Like, he ran out and then he like came back over to make sure he like kind of gave me a little push. So I'm like, okay, like me and Aaron Jones. All right. Cause we did talk a little bit about last year's Detroit game and what that looked like, not running the ball in the red zone and passing the ball maybe too much. And so I think a lot of that all went into account, is like, man, when we get down into the red zone, can we run the ball? And I think Kevin O'Connell, like, he's a smart guy. He's thinking about that. Like, think about the teams, that have running backs that, like the Ravens. The Ravens run the ball in the red zone. And then eventually Lamar Jackson does something crazy and gets the ball out of his hands. But that's the thing. So, my biggest takeaway, man, one was Christian Darrisaw's health. And two or three people mentioned how big he was. And then three, like Gink and Cashman's relationship, man. It's so funny because, you got a Badger and a Gopher, and, you got to be in the same backfield. You got to trust each other. But the one thing Gink said to me, man, like, because I was like, the Big Ten, man, y'all are deep. I was like, back in my day, man, we used to hear the SEC versus Big Ten, or, the Miami Hurricanes with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, versus Florida State with Pete Boulware and Corey Fuller. And he's like, man, with the NIL and transfer portal, he's like, guys aren't walking into the building like repping their school like they used to. He's like, guys aren't showing up in their school sweatsuit anymore because they got like 6 schools on their resume by the time they get to the NFL. And I was like, you're right. I was like, because if I've been to 2 or 3 schools, which one am I going to really celebrate when I walk into your locker room? And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, that's probably part of it. Everything, like everybody this year is a lot of COVID first for people, the draft picks. But yeah, when Gink brought that up about, college kids transferring, he's like, if you went to Texas A&M and then you went to Texas Tech and then Texas, which one are you going to rep when you walk into our building? None of them. Because you probably, the other 2 you probably were mad at. And the last one, you're like, yeah, it was just a means to an end with NIL dollars, But yeah, man, Sam, what have you been seeing, or, what are you kind of thinking about with this training camp, as they go?
Yeah, well, how about the emergence of Lucky Jackson? Like, this Justin Jefferson injury has given some other guys opportunities, and I'm seeing a lot of Lucky Jackson highlights. I don't know, there was one yesterday, Ron. I saw a clip. McCarthy just threading the needle along the sideline to Lucky, and he goes in for a touchdown. And Lucky's got an interesting story because it's his 3rd year with the Vikings. He's been on the practice squad for 2 years. He's actually 28. Because he was draft eligible in 2020, didn't get drafted, went to the CFL, went to the XFL, got to the NFL. He's a journeyman. He's 28 years old. He's never really played in the league yet, but it seems like he's kind of their preferred number 5, if you will, on that depth chart. So that's someone we haven't talked a lot about, Ron, but with his age and experience, it seems like they like him. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and so looking at, when you look at these receivers, I mean, they quote unquote, they have 12 guys. I'm by the way, too, let me see if this is updated. If this updated, I don't know if you saw this, Will Fries is back to questionable with Christian Darrisaw. But
I thought Fries was out there yesterday, though. That's what I read.
He was, but of course, you got to kind of turn in, hey, this guy was with, he had general soreness, whatever. So they throw stuff out there just to, make sure they're updating people properly. Because I think legally they want to make sure with the new betting stuff and, FanDuel and all this stuff, you don't want to have a Jordan Mason, what was the running back, Christian McCaffrey situation from last year where, he knew Christian McCaffrey was out like Tuesday, probably. I think he made a mistake and said they told me Tuesday it was my show. And everybody's like, wait, what? Like, they didn't tell us. Like, nobody told us he was playing. Like, we thought Christian, I'm betting on the 49ers because of Christian McCaffrey. If I knew that, I'd have put you on my fantasy team, But anyway, so I think they're trying to honor that and kind of be real with these people. But when you look at the receivers, they got 6. So you got Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, Jalen Naylor with the 1s. You got Tim Jones, Rondale Moore, Tay Felton with the 2s. And then you got Lucky Jackson with the 3s. And Lucky Jackson is behind Rondale Moore. The one thing I should have looked at, and maybe I will run out there today, is who's with the 1. I know Jordan Addison, Naylor, but then is Rondale Moore or Felton coming in when they go nickel, 3 receivers?
3 wide.
Or is it Tim Jones, or is it Lucky Jackson, Jashawn Jones? How does that work? Because this is just a preliminary from OTAs in minicamp. This is what they turn in. This is the guess by ESPN. They're guessing. They don't really know. They're just saying based off our reporter, which is what's his name? Who's the reporter? The Minnesota guy for ESPN.
Kevin Seifert.
My names are just off this summer. I'm not ready bet to be names back yet. But Kevin Seifert, he has to turn in some stuff, and so that's what he probably turned in. Like, here's what I saw all mini camp and OTAs and from talking to coaches. So when you think about that, you got 6 potential receivers in the 1s and the 2s. Could Lucky Jackson jump in there? Could Silas Bolden jump up in there? Because what we haven't seen yet, and we'll see that August 9th, is special teams. Who takes the first group of special teams reps, and then who's next after that, and then who's next after that. I think that's kind of the steps. Like first guy up, next guy up. Okay, which receivers are in the special teams depth chart group early? Because that's when we'll kind of get it and get to figuring out what's going to happen with who could be like 9. Because right now starters, they have Ty Chandler as the kick returner, Andrew DePaul is the long snapper, which I talked to him a little bit too about long snapping and like what's the rule changes, and Ryan Wright punter, and then Will Reichert kicker. So Ty Chandler kick returner, and Jalen Naylor punt returner. So can Rondale Moore earn that kick return punt return spot? I think so. I think he could. I honestly like, and this is just me looking at his college highlights, I like Rondale Moore as a kick returner over Ty Chandler. That's just me personally. I think the way the new kickoff rules work, you need a jitterbug. You need a guy that can make a guy or two miss, because it's no longer I need a straight line guy that can run through guys with speed. I need a guy that can hop left to right, get away from a guy, spin and go. And so I could see that. You also, as the number 2s though, like this thing, 2s and 3s, they don't even have him on there. They got Silas Bolden as a second punt returner, and then Miles Price, and then Isaiah Rodgers as a second kick returner. So Rondale Moore is not even on this list. So I don't know if that means he's locked in at receiver, or does he have something to worry about? Again, Silas Bolden being the number 2 punt returner, does that help his case as training camp goes on? And that's the things that, you kind of have to keep an eye on. People forget special teams. Again, I go back to what's his name, the Jacinta, nobody had Dan Jacinta making the roster. And then all of a sudden he became a great gunner, and they're like, you made the roster. We need you as a gunner. Special teams is important. And, if you don't have punt coverage, if you don't have kick return coverage, if you don't have a kick returner or punt returner, pretty much just fair catching everything and moving up to the 30, or fair catching and being pinned down in the 15. You need some guys. And so, yeah, Jeff Okudah, I know I saw some videos. Jeff Okudah has some couple of good reps yesterday. But it looks like Isaiah Rodgers right now is still up there in that 1 spot. I didn't get a chance to see much Ambry Thomas. That's kind of why I want to go out there today, maybe, and get some Ambry Thomas footage, and just check him out as well and see how he's doing. But I think that's the key. But man, like watching Josh Metellus, I want to say that Josh Metellus did it the right way. And that's the one thing I liked, is that he didn't hold out. He didn't say he had injuries and want to just sit out until, my injuries heal up, and all of a sudden, oh, here's $25 million. Whew, I'm healed. He did it the right way. He showed up to practice. He showed up to meetings. He didn't even talk about a hold in. And Sam, we called the number. Like we kept saying, it's got to be between 10 and 15.
Yeah,
like,
nailed it.
We said that. We said between 10. I told Josh, I was like, Josh, man, me and Sam called it on our show. I was like, I said, ask Sam the top linebacker, top 10. It was 10 million. And we said we knew Cam Bynum was 10 and he got 15 million. And I was like, I didn't tell him this part. I was like, unfortunately, like I don't think the Vikings are going to pay what Cam Bynum got, because they probably would have just said we could have kept Cam Bynum too. But I'm like, they found a number that worked. And I think, and again, we talked about the guarantee, that $25 million guarantee, that's huge. Also, he has another $8 million extension that he can get to get to 42 million instead of 36. So, but 25 guaranteed. Oh, the best part about it, so I was joking with him. I was like, man, let me just touch money, man. Let me touch your hand. Let me touch some money, man. He's like, no, I don't got it yet. He's like, I got 6 to 10 days.
Wire transfer takes.
You got to wait for the wire transfer. You got 6 to 10 days, and then they're going to wire him. I'm guessing 25 million. So, or, and then after taxes, was that 12, 13, 14, 15 million after taxes? I would take out the max, so I don't have any taxes I got to pay on that money. But maybe he takes more on because he has some stuff he can put it into for investment purposes, and then get some, use that to pay the taxes. But yeah, like the man in 6 to 10 days, he's going to have a guaranteed $25 million wire transfer coming through because he signed the contract. He's at practice. He's not a hold in. And he's doing it the right way as a potential captain again. And, sounds like he's going to be a captain. I'm guessing you wouldn't just give a non-captain $25 million, and he didn't do anything to lose it. But we got him coming up next in the Hang Around Johnson segment. I'm Ron Johnson. That's Sam Ekstrom, and we'll be back with Josh Metellus after a word from our sponsors.
We are brought to you today by Game Time. We've all been there, waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale. waiting for single game tickets to go on sale for the Vikings, the Timberwolves, whatever. And then suddenly you lose your spot. Well, you should make memories being at these live sporting events, right? There shouldn't be stress. This should be a happy experience. Well, that's where Game Time comes in. I just used Game Time this past week, taking the kids, taking the 4 and the 5-year-old. We're going to try Vikings Texans on the 9th. We're going to make it to halftime. That's the goal. I got in that building. We got 4 tickets for like $36. It's a preseason game. Tickets are cheap. You want to take your family down to US Bank Stadium, check out Game Time. You can sit anywhere in US Bank Stadium, get a great football experience for cheap at Game Time right now. Get the tickets last minute, find some zone deals, get the panoramic view from your seat, whatever you want. There's no hidden fees. You toggle that on, so the Game Time guarantee also has your back with cancellation protection and so much more. Take the guesswork out of buying concert and football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code LOCKEDONNFL. That's LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.